Good evening, everyone. In the previous session of Management of Financial Services, I was explaining about the procedural aspect of all the methods of floating new issue. Simply means what are the various types of steps involved in the process of IPO, private placement, right issues, and offer for sale. So this was the topic which I already explained in my last session. In today's session, I am going to explain the regulations regarding private placement and right issues. So first of all, I am going to explain what are the conditions required to be fulfilled by all the companies who wish to go for private placement, and these conditions are mentioned in the Companies Act 2013. Then I am going to explain the guidelines regarding right issue. Now these guidelines are provided by SEBI, and every company has to follow these guidelines when they are issuing or when they are using the method of right issue for the issue of new securities. Okay, so let's begin the session. So as you all can see on the screen, these are the 7 conditions for private placement under the Companies Act 2013. So in the Companies Act, these are the conditions which are mentioned, and each and every company who wish to go for private placement has to follow all these 7 conditions. Okay. So the first one is maximum number of persons. So here maximum number of persons means to how many persons the private placement can be issued in a particular financial year. So in a financial year, maximum number of persons who are eligible to purchase or subscribe for securities under private placement is 200. So every company who want to go for private placement or who are issuing securities through private placement, they cannot issue securities to more than 200 persons within a particular financial year. Okay. Now these persons can be regarded as financial institutions and employees, and should be mentioned in the issue of capital requirement, and these number of persons, or we can say the details, must be mentioned in those documents. Okay. The next point is minimum amount of offer for the individual. So every individual who are eligible to purchase or to go for or eligible to subscribe issue under the private placement, there must be a minimum amount of money or minimum amount of money involved for that individual. So here each and every individual who wish to subscribe for the issue under private placement, they cannot issue less than, they cannot subscribe for less than rupees 20,000. Okay. So every company can issue securities to a single individual or to a single investor worth rupees 20,000 or more than 20,000, but not less than rupees 20,000. So the minimum amount of offer for the individual by the company is rupees 20,000 or more, but not less than rupees 20,000. Okay. Now the third point says that persons to whom an offer can be made. Now offer must be made to only those individual or only those persons to whom invitations have been sent regarding private placement. So other than those individuals or those institution, no other institution or individual has the right to go subscribe for private placement or subscribe for the issue. So these are the only persons to whom offer can be made. All the names and details of those number of persons institution must be mentioned, and they must be sent an invitation regarding the private placement, the date of private placement, and every detail regarding the private placement, and those people are only eligible to subscribe for the issue under private placement. Okay. The next point is mode of payment. So when an investor has subscribed for certain number of securities under private placement, they are supposed to make the payment. So how they are supposed to make the payment? They can either make through bank checks or demand draft, but transaction cannot be done on the basis of cash. So the investor cannot pay through cash, or they can only pay through by giving them the amount regarding, paying them through bank checks or demand draft. These are the only two mode of payment which are accepted in private placement. No other mode of payment is accepted, or any kind of transaction related to bank can be accepted except the payment in cash. So any kind of cash payment is not accepted in private placement. Okay. The next one is bank account. So when when the investors pay the amount of money regarding the issue, regarding their subscription, it has to be deposited in a bank account. So the company has to create a separate bank account for accepting the subscription of all the investors. So they cannot use the bank account which is already used by the company for any other purpose. So they are supposed to create a separate bank account, and all those money sent by the investors will be deposited in that bank account only. Okay. And the last point or the last condition in the private placement is minimum gap between two offers. Means what should be the time period between two offers, two private placement made by the company. So here it clearly says that a company, after completing all the formalities of one private placement, can immediately go for another private placement. They can immediately make another offer, but they need to complete all the formalities like allotment, accepting the money. Allotment should be made to all the investors. So those steps needed to be completed. No further payment must be left behind from the first private placement. So there is no specific time gap between two offers or two private placements. So even if a company decides to withdraw from the invitation of the private placement, they have to complete all the formalities. Even if they are withdrawing, they must inform each and every party to whom they have informed regarding the private placement, and they need to fulfill all the formalities, all the conditions, and after that they can go for another private placement. And if a company, without fulfilling all the steps or all the formalities of the previous private placement, invites other investors for the private new private placement, they have to pay a fine of worth rupees 2 crore or whatever allotment money they have received from the new private placement. So it can be 2 crore rupee or the total amount of allotment money which they have received from the new private placement. Whichever amount is higher can be fixed as a fine for that company. So no company can go for a second private placement without fulfilling all the formalities and all the steps from the first private placement. So each and every investor must be allotted the number of securities for which they have paid, and refund process must also be complete. If they have paid excessive amount of money to the company, they must have returned the amount of money to the investors, and then they can go for new private placement. Okay. So these are the conditions, these are the basic conditions mentioned in the Companies Act, which each and every company has to follow if they are using private placement as a method of issuing new security. Okay. So next I'm going to explain the SEBI guidelines. These guidelines are mentioned or created by Security Exchange Board of India regarding right issues. So these are the guidelines which each and every company has to follow, or else SEBI can take action against those companies. So there are around 20 steps or 20 guidelines which every company has to follow who wants to issue securities through right issues. Okay. So the first point, as you all can see on the screen, is applicability. So first of all, what is the applicability means? Which means what kind of companies are actually eligible for going for right issues. So first of all, here it says that these guidelines apply to right issues made by the existing companies, and these companies must be listed in the stock exchange. Means the types of security they are preferring to issue, those securities must also be listed in the stock exchange. For example, a company has listed debentures and other forms of securities bond, but has not listed equity share. So such companies cannot issue or cannot issue securities through right issue because they haven't listed equity shares in the stock exchange. So in order to issue shares through, issue securities through right issue process, the company must list the equity shares in the stock exchange, or else the company won't be eligible to won't be held eligible for issuing securities through right issue. Okay, the next one is withdrawal of a right issue. So once the record date is announced, can a company withdraw the right issue? Actually, they cannot. Once the record date, the date on which the right issue is supposed to take place, if that date is announced, a company cannot withdraw from it. And if a company does, no other security of the company can be issued for the next 12 months. So if they try to withdraw, from the right issue after mentioning the record date, then they won't be eligible for issuing any kind of security for next 12 months. And after 12 months, they can go for issuing securities. Okay. So the next point here says that underwriting. So it is up to the company whether they want to appoint a underwriter or not. It is not compulsory, but it is optional. So if a company wants, they can appoint underwriter. And if a company does not want to get or does not want to involve underwriters, then they can directly issue it to the existing shareholders. There won't be any underwriter. So appointment of underwriter is not compulsory under the SEBI guidelines. Okay. The next point is appointment of the registrar. Unlike appointment of underwriter, appointment of the registrar is compulsory. Each and every company going for an issue through the method of right issue, they have to appoint a registrar. Okay. The next point is appointment of the merchant banker. So they have to appoint category 1 merchant banker who must have a certificate of registration issued by SEBI. So a merchant banker not having any certificate of registration, then the person or the institution cannot be considered to be a proper merchant banker. So a certificate of registration given by the SEBI must be held by the merchant banker, which is considered as the category 1 merchant banker. Okay, so these are the certain involvement of other parties with respect to the issue. Next one is partly paid shares. So whatever the partly paid shares means, the amount of shares which is not paid completely by the investor. So whatever means the total number of shares which are not partly paid must be converted into fully paid, means those investors, those shareholders must pay the total amount of the shares. If they must pay the remaining amount of the shares. If they do not pay, then those shares may be forfeited. So either they have to make those shares fully paid up shares, or they have to forfeit the shares. Okay. So the next point here is called letter of offer. So letter of offer actually contains disclosures specified by SEBI in section 2 guidelines relating to the contents of the offer document. Means what are the contents of the offer document must be mentioned in the letter of offer. So the lead merchant banker shall first of all ensure compliance of the requirement of SEBI guideline with respect to the offer document related to the right issue. So whatever is the guidelines mentioned by the SEBI guidelines regarding the merchant banker. So like I said, these are the guidelines given to the given by the SEBI regarding right issue. There are certain guidelines regarding merchant banker. If the company appoints a merchant banker, these merchant banker has to follow certain guidelines. So the merchant banker must ensure compliance of all the requirements of SEBI guidelines, means whatever guidelines mentioned by the SEBI with respect to the offer document to the right issue, it becomes the responsibility of the merchant banker to ensure that all the guidelines are fulfilled properly, are followed properly. Okay. And the next one says that file with SEBI a copy of offer document at least 21 days before listing of the same with the regional stock exchange. So before listing in the regional, in any regional stock exchange, a copy of such offer document must be made to the SEBI before 21 days, or at least 21 days before listing the securities in the regional stock exchange. So these are the regulations or rules regarding letter of offer. The next point here says that agreement with depository. Okay, so the company shall enter into an agreement with the depository for dematerialization. So for the dematerialization aspect of the security, every company must enter into an agreement with the depository. Okay, so dematerialization leads to dematerialization of the security, and these must be proposed to the issue. The subscriber shareholder must be given an option of holding the shares in a dematerialized mode or the way by share certificate. So here it says that there must be an option given to the holders of the share whether they want to hold the security, hold the share by having the share certificate, which is the traditional method, or they want to hold it through the dematerialized way. So it depends upon the it depends upon the investor or the holder of the share. Okay, so every company has to get into an agreement with the depository with respect to dematerialization of the security. So all the securities may be in the form of the paper or in dematerialized form, but there must be some agreement between the depository. Okay. So the next point here, the next point here says that closure of right issue. So the closure of right issue means for how many days the offer must be kept open for the investors. Now here in the right issue, the time period is around 30 days. So for 30 days, the right issue must be kept open for the investors to purchase the shares, but it cannot exceed more than 60 days. If there are some kind of technical problems or any other problems, it may increase 30 days, but the maximum number of days in which the right issue must be kept open is 30 days. Sorry, 60 days. Above 60 days, the offer cannot be kept open. Okay. The next one is minimum subscription. So what happens if the company does not receive minimum subscription? If the company does not receive minimum subscription, they have to send the entire amount of subscription to the investors who have sent money to the company. So here it says that the company, they have to return the entire subscription will be refunded to the applicants within 42 days from the date of closure of the issue. So suppose today is the date where the issue is closed, and on that day the subscription is under subscription date. There is no it has not reached minimum subscription, then they have to refund the 90% of the amount of money which they have collected within next 42 days. And if there is a delay in the refund of the application money by more than 8 days, means instead of 42 days, if they have taken 50 days for refunding the money, the company will be held liable to pay the amount. Means that is 42 days after closure of the issue, means they must be held liable for paying all the amount of money to the issuers or to the investors, to the investors who have paid money for the subscription. So if they delay the payment for more than 42 days, they have to pay 15% interest to the investors, depending upon the amount money they have not paid. So that is the condition created by SEBI, which each and every company has to follow. So if they are unable to pay the refund amount within that specified number of days, that is 42 days, and they are taking more than 50 days for refunding the amount of money, they have to pay interest of that money to the investors or to the people or to the subscribers of the who have sent money for subscription for the issue, so for the purchase of security. Okay. So the next point here says that no reservation in the right issue. So in the right issue, there cannot be any reservation because right issue is conducted or is made for existing shareholders, and depending upon their total holdings, shares will be issued to them. So no reservation will be made. It is completely transparent and fair to all the existing shareholders of the company. Okay. The next one is promoters' contribution. So here it says that the requirement of promoters' contribution shall not be applicable in case of right issue. So the promoters do not have to contribute anything in when there is a case of right issue. Okay. The next point here says that rights of FCD and PDC holders. So first of all, FCD and PCD means fully convertible debentures and partly convertible or partially convertible debentures. So here it says that before conducting right issue, no convertible debentures must be left. Means every type of convertible debenture, whether it is fully or partly must be converted, then right issue can take place. And if they haven't converted these debentures, they must provide them with right issues or the securities issued in the right issue form at the time when the debenture is to be converted into shares. So at the time of conversion of debenture into shares, right issue shares can be issued to the fully convertible debenture holders and partly convertible debenture holders, or else they can first of all complete all the formalities by converting those debentures into shares, and then they can go for right issues. Okay. So this must be considered because it actually involves the rights of the holders of fully converted debentures, fully convertible debentures and partly convertible debentures. Okay. So whenever conducting or going for right issues, these debentures must be properly converted. If not converted during the time of conversion, these right issues must be provided to the debenture holders. Okay. So this must be considered. This must be considered very important from the company point of view because it is one of the most important regulation created by the SEBI for preserving the rights of the debenture holders. Okay, convertible debenture holders. And the next point here says that restriction on further capital issue. So this guideline states that a company who has gone for a right issue, they have issued security through right issue shares, they cannot go for further capital issue until and unless all the formalities of the right issue is completed, like allotment of share, sending documents to the SEBI, refunding the amount to the investors. So every formality needs to be fulfilled before going for any other type of issue or issuing even any other type of security. Not only shares, they are not even allowed to issue other types of security until and unless they fulfill all the terms and conditions of right issues and all the formalities of right issue. Then only they can go for issuing any other type of security for raising capital. Okay. The next point, oversubscription not to be retained. So whenever the company has received oversubscription, they cannot retain the money because this money does not belong to the company. This money needs to be refunded to the particular investors, to the particular people who have sent the money to the company. So therefore, the money must be refunded to the investors. Okay, so no oversubscription must be retained, and if any company does that, SEBI can take necessary action against those companies. Okay. The next one is offer issue to be made fully paid up. So once the shareholders have subscribed for the share, they have to pay the entire amount of share. So that means fully paid up share. So there is a time limit given to the shareholders, that is around 12 months. So within 12 months, these shares must be converted into fully paid up shares. If the total amount of issue is above 500 crores, then extension can be made. So the time limit given for converting or making it fully paid up share is around 12 months. Okay. The next point here says that offer document to be made public. So the draft offer document filled with SEBI shall be made public for within a period of 21 days from the date of filing. Means the date on which the filing is done. After 21 days from that date, offer document must be submitted with the draft of offer document must be filed with SEBI. Okay, so this is the time limit given by the SEBI, that after 21 days of the filing of offer document, these draft document must be made public. Okay, and the lead manager must play important role in this process, and they have to simultaneously file copies of draft offer document, which is extremely necessary, with the stock exchanges where the securities offered through the issuer proposed to be listed. Means the offer document needs to be made public, and at the same time the offer document needs to be sent to all the regional stock exchange and other stock exchange where the company wish to list the security or the issues. So to those stock exchanges also these documents must be sent, and copies of offer document can be made public. Okay, so these are the things must be kept into consideration by the merchant banker. So the lead merchant banker or the stock exchange may charge an appropriate sum to the person requesting for the offer of document. So anybody who wants to get the offer of document, copy of offer of document, the stock exchange or the lead merchant banker can charge a certain amount of money. Okay. The next one is no complaint certificate. So after a period of 21 days from the date of draft offer document was made public, the lead merchant banker shall file a statement with SEBI. Means after 21 days of the date from which the offer document is made public, from that date to next 21 days, a draft of a document, the lead banker, a merchant banker shall file a statement with SEBI. A statement must be filed after 21 days of making the offer document was made public. So after 21 days from making the offer document public, lead merchant banker shall file a statement with the SEBI, and those statements must consist a list of complaints received by it. Means what are the complaints they have received from the investors or any other parties, shareholders who are facing any kind of problem regarding the right issue, and a statement by it whether it is proposed to amend the draft offer or not. Means whether they want to amend the draft document or not, that must be also mentioned in the statement. Okay, and they need to also highlight all the amendments that they have mentioned in the statement. So these are the formalities which is to be done by the merchant banker. Okay, the next one is dispatch of letter of offer. So in the case of right issue, lead merchant banker shall ensure the letter of offer are dispatched to all the shareholders at least 1 week before the date of opening of the issue. So before opening the issue, a letter of offer must be sent to the shareholders, giving them or inviting them to purchase the share, giving them all the detailed information about the right issue, total number of share, and each and every detail. So these letter of offer must be sent before 1 week of opening the issue. So that is the duty of the lead banker or lead merchant banker. And the last point is composite issue. So the lead merchant banker shall ensure that the requirement of minimum subscription is satisfied both jointly and severally, that is independent to both right and public. So they must see that there is a minimum subscription and it is satisfied, combining independently both for rights and public issues. So that is the duty of the merchant banker, that they see that offer is completely subscribed, or even they can try for oversubscription by combining public issue as well as right issue. Okay. So these are the guidelines which every company has to follow when they go for right issue. Okay. So that's it for today. In the next session, I'm going to discuss the details about IPO, what are the SEBI guidelines, and the details about prospectus. So that's it for today. Thank you. We will meet in the next session. Okay.